Hello, everybody, and I am Jackie from IXL. Welcome to this webinar. I'm recording it, so if you've got colleagues that would feel you feel that they would benefit from this, I'll share it with you later. Please pass that on. It's a 30-minute webinar and we've got a lot to cover. However, there is a Q&A box, so please, I'm here to help. Please feel free to write questions in that Q&A box along the way. I can see it up there. So yeah, I want to help you. So just please pop that in and I'll do my best to get to it. As I said, we do have a lot to get through today, and the focus is around our personalization, and no platform does it better than IXL. And just to introduce myself formally, so yes, I'm Jackie Herman. I lead the company down here in Australia. I'm the educational sales lead for Australia and New Zealand. I joined the company almost 3 years ago. After over 2 decades of being in the classroom, you can probably tell I was a primary school teacher. I've still got that voice. And then I joined the world of EdTech about 10 years ago, and now I lead the company here in Australia. In case you don't know, because I know we've got a lot of people joining here who have got different depth of experience with IXL. So we've got some people who are from our current paid schools that have subscriptions. We've also got some people joining us who maybe are currently piloting IXL to try it out in their school. So some people might have used it a little bit, some people a lot. I'll try and cover it all for you, but it's not a session about how to use all of the features on IXL, because we would definitely need more than 30 minutes for that. We're focusing today on our real-time diagnostic and that personalization that IXL provides. So I'm hoping you can see me, you can hear me. If you've got any technical difficulties, also pop that in the Q&A box to make me aware of it. Now, in case you don't know much about IXL, because as I said, some of you, this might be your first experience. In Australia, it covers literacy, numeracy, and science. So we've got maths, English, and science all in one platform. And we cover a lot in one platform. You can see here all the different components that all work seamlessly together to make that one platform. And it also goes from preschool right up to year 12 in Australia, which is pretty amazing. And whilst IXL Learning, IXL's our flagship product. That was the first one. It's been around over 25 years in the United States. We also have other companies in our family. You might have seen or recognised some of these: TPT, Rosetta Stone, ABC Your Games, which is actually on the site that you've got access to. All of these are part of the IXL family. I just thought I'd share that with you in case you didn't know. Now, as I said, we're going to focus on our personalised approach. And look, there are many things I could show you, but I'm going to focus on these things today. I mentioned the real-time diagnostic and their action plans, which are amazing. We'll get to that shortly. But I'm going to go on the site in a moment, because some of you may not realise that, firstly, that the questions are adaptive. So that's helping to personalise IXL. And I don't know if everyone's aware of the recommendations wall, or we call it the rec wall. So I'm now going to go onto the site and show you those things. I'm hoping you can now all see the site. It's saying welcome live IXL. As I said, if you've got any technical difficulties, please pop that in the Q&A box so that I'm aware that there are some problems. All right, now I'm going to recap something in case you don't know it. If you want to assign a task to a student, you go over here to learning, and you can see there's maths, English, and science. Now, your school might only be subscribing or trialing one or two subjects, maybe not all three. If you do want to try more, let your leadership team know, and I'm sure we can organise that for you. But say I want to focus on maths. I can go to maths skills. See, it says games. That's those ABC games that I was just talking about. But I'm going to go to maths skills. There's a lot of content on IXL. Now, this is one way to search for content. I'm going to go to year 9. You can pick whatever year level you like. You've got access to every year level. Every one of those lines, and there's a lot of them, is a skill-based activity. So say you like the look of an activity or you want to explore it further, you can simply hover over it and it gives you a preview of a few of those questions. And you can see with this one, it's lit up in yellow because I have assigned that task to my students. If you like the look of a task, you simply click that yellow star. You could assign it to everyone or handpick students that you'd like to assign it to, or you can even create groups. I'm a little bit off track here, but I thought I'd start with that in case you didn't know. So I'm going to click on this activity and show you about how it's personalised. Now, firstly, when a student logs in and they go to do this activity, there are a few things that they can have to help them. So firstly, they could click learn with an example, and it's very structured, nicely talks through all the steps to help them achieve this skill and be able to attack this question. There are other things to help them too. So you've got audio support. There's also language support. This is a relatively new feature. We've got over 100 languages. I think it's an optional feature if you have a student where English is not their first language. Very helpful. So if I click that, this student here is set to Arabic by the looks of it. So she can read it in English, but also see and hear it in Arabic. So it's another feature to assist that child, that student, another way to personalize IXL. Now, I'm going to show you this particular activity. See how there's one column in this graph that I need to go up and down and put in the answer and submit? Because I'm on the teacher side, I can do this to use this teacher tool here because I want to show you what happens if I succeed. Now, something I should also mention, we could all start the same activity, but the first question is probably going to be different. It'll be at the same level, but you can understand why, so that students are not looking at each other's screens and copying off each other. And the questions are adaptive. So we could all start that same activity and go off in different directions depending on our needs. And I'll show you what I mean. So if I get it correct, not just one question, if I'm consistently getting it correct, it will start to get more difficult. See how now there are 2 columns that I need to do. You can also notice this SMART score going up. I'll explain that in a moment, but I'm going to keep jumping up another level. So now I'm on level 3 and I have to do the whole graph. But IXL won't get a student to do that. It wouldn't ask that question unless they're ready for it. So it's highly personalized in that way. The SMART score, it's not a percentage. It is out of 100, but it's not a percentage. It's really the tool that IXL uses to make those questions adaptive. So if I start to struggle again, you might see that SMART score will go down a little bit so that it reverts back to slightly easier questions to help boost those skills. And if you wanted to, I don't like to focus necessarily on the SMART score with students, but if they do question it, please explain the expectation is not for everyone to get to 100. If they do, that's incredible. They've fully mastered that skill. But really a score of 80 is great. That means they're proficient in that skill. So let your students know 80 is a great score. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you about personalisation, and remember, if you've got questions, pop them in the Q&A box. Any questions about that, pop it in there. I'm going to now go to my IXL and go to a student dashboard. Now, the reason I want to show you this, a couple of reasons actually, I want to show you the different ways you can use IXL, but most importantly, this recommendations wall or the rec wall. Now, this student, Miller, has logged in. Firstly, can you see here it says step into the arena? That's about the diagnostic. And I'm going to show you in a moment how you can get that box to appear for all of your students, because the diagnostic tool is an ongoing tool. It's not just something you do once every now and then. I'm going to explain more about that later, and I will show you how to get that box appearing for your students. So Miller's logged in. She's got this reminder to step into the arena. That's the diagnostic. She's got some tasks here from her teacher. You know, I just showed you how to assign tasks. So she's got some tasks to do. She could focus on maths or English or science. If you were a specialist teacher and you only want them to do maths, you could ask them to do that. We also have a great feature called focus zone. I'm digressing here, but there's a focus zone. So if you were a specialist teacher like a maths teacher, you can set focus zone to be so that maybe just for that hour of the day, they can only access maths. It's another great accessory on IXL that you can use. All right, so she's on that tab from your teacher, but you can say to students at any time, go and work on your recommendations wall. Now I'm going to make it larger so you can see it. Now the rec wall is unique to that student. So my wall won't look like your wall. And this is showing all subjects here. And everything they do on IXL, whether it's on the diagnostic, whether it's work that you've assigned for them, everything is feeding into this wall. It's the next steps for that student. So at any time you can say, go and work through your rec wall, because you can be confident they are working on what they need to work on. It's very targeted, very personalized. And it's amazing how I think IXL is very intuitive how to use it. Most teachers get set up pretty easily, but there are a lot of teachers who miss this and didn't realize that this rec wall existed. So that's why I wanted to point that out to you today. And you can see, look, sometimes it might say try something new. So they're doing well and they're ready to move on. This one here, it says because you excelled on the 19th of August, ready to do that activity there, that skill there. If it says keep at it, maybe they need a little bit more practice. So it's not just about gaps, it's also about strengths. So it's picking up all of their gaps and strengths and automatically assigning next tasks. Now, as a teacher, and since I've been working in this world of EdTech, I've seen them all, I've used them all, and nothing else does it like IXL. This is an amazing feature. So as I said, if you've got an early finisher or you just want to make 20 minutes set aside in your maths lesson or your English lesson to say, guys, I just want you to work through your rec wall, because then you know that they're picking up on those exact skills that they need to work on. Now, as I said, if you've got any questions, please pop that in the Q&A box if you've got questions about that. And I did say I'm going to show you this, so I'll show it to you now. Let's click that diagnostic tab there. So if you click that, can you see there's this little yellow star and it says keep your real-time levels up to date? That's what I clicked to make that box appear for the student. It's probably not clicked or by default. So if you click the diagnostic tab, you might want to click that yellow star because I'm going to explain now why. That's an important feature for you. And so that way, when the student logs in, that box will be there. All right, I'm going to go back to my little slideshow here and keep us on track. So I've shown you the adaptive questions and I've shown you the recommendations wall. Now I want to get into more about our real-time diagnostic, which is also a game changer, quite unique. I haven't seen anything done in this way on any other platform. It's effective insight. You're getting efficient insights on student knowledge whenever you need it. And that's why I was saying it's not just a one-off tool. It's something that you can do in about 10 minutes every week. If they can keep doing that every now and then, not starting from scratch, but building on it, you're always going to have amazing data that you can pull up whenever you need it. If Johnny's mum calls you up randomly and says, oh, I'm worried about Johnny's maths, you've got that data whenever you need it because you've got great analytics, not just about the work that you set for your students, but also if you're doing the diagnostic, you've got additional data there too. The personalised action plan was the first thing I saw in IXL that really blew me away. And with my teacher hat on, when I saw this action plan, and I will show it to you more closely, I've thought how fantastic to have at parent-teacher interviews. I probably would have printed them off because it really is personalised for every single student, showing me their gaps, their strengths, what level they're working at. You know, if you have to do an individualized learning plan for a student, I've done them. It's time consuming, it's difficult. It's done. Every student, you've got one. So that's pretty amazing. Now take a look here. This is an example here of a personalized action plan. I've got another one I can show you a little bit larger. Now these two, I hope you can see them clearly. We've got one for Rudy and one for Oliver. At first glance, they look the same, don't they? So in terms of their levels. If you can see that there, it's saying 550. Now, what that number means, and it's also saying that for Oliver, 550. What that means is the first number is the year level they're performing at according to our diagnostic. So these students are about halfway through year 5 because it goes in blocks of 100. So then it breaks it down and goes into different strands. Now, even though these students, look, number and place value is the same for those students as well. They're a little bit weaker in that strand. They might look at first glance like those plans look the same, but let's look more closely at the activities and skills that have been suggested in that plan. Look how Rudy's been, it's suggesting those activities and skills, whereas Oliver, these skills are the ones that are being recommended because they struggled with different things. So even though overall they might have ended up about the same, their strengths and their weak spots, and were all different. So it's very personalized in that way. So it's only suggesting the skills that they need. Before I show you that, I'm going to go, this is a larger version. It might be better for you to see. So I've got this student here named Ezekiel, and you can see for him, his level is 450. So what does that mean? I hear you all say. halfway through year 4. It's not always on the 50 mark, by the way. It might be 420, 450, whatever. So you can see in number and algebra, he's a bit weaker. See, it says 410. And then measurement and geometry, year 5 level, and stats and probability just below year 5 level. It does the same for English as well. You can see for English, he hasn't quite finished yet, the diagnostic. So it's giving a range. Once he's completed the whole diagnostic, it will pinpoint exactly his levels. Now, what do you notice straight away about this student? I can hear you again. You're all saying he's stronger in English. You can see. And the nice thing about our English platform, it's not just about reading. A lot of literacy platforms are literally just reading. But we've got reading strategies, vocab and grammar, writing skills, everything. It's a full literacy resource. So that's basically how the action plan works. It's visible and accessible, obviously, for the students too, because the students can just click on those skills and that takes them straight to that task. So if I was to print it out, remember I said it would be great at parent-teacher interviews to have them printed out or put them in their work sample folders, their portfolios. What you can do there are little codes here. See that says DBD? So if that was in hard copy, what a student can do, I'm going to go back to the site here, is go to the search bar and type in that code and it takes them straight to that skill. So if they had it in hard copy, really easy. Okay, so that's how that works. If you've got any questions about the diagnostic action plan, pop it in the Q&A box and I'll promise I'll try and get an answer to you by the end of this webinar. We haven't got long to go. 12 minutes to go. We've still got a bit to get through. Let's go back to this little slideshow. The diagnostic tool is not just beneficial for the students and the teachers, it's great for school administrators as well. There's so much data available on IXL, even above and beyond the diagnostic, but some of it is all available for teachers, and then in addition to that, school administrators. So a principal, a deputy, head of curriculum, whatever your title might be, they get additional data as an administrator on IXL. So for example, this pie graph here is showing me I've got 20-something%, 29%, I think it is, I need my glasses, of students working below grade level. But you can always dive deeper on our reports. We like to call our reports actionable, so that our data isn't just about throwing numbers at you. You can always learn more and the next steps are provided. So that's really insightful information because that administrator can then learn what grade level is in that yellow group, mostly. And that can help with budget decisions. Where do we need more funding and where do we need more teachers' aid time and so forth, if you can see where the weak spots are. So also good to know. Now, from a student's perspective, what's it like to do the diagnostic? Believe it or not, it isn't onerous. It's done in a very child-friendly manner. Now, I'm just going to halt there because I could see somebody, Deborah, thank you, has posted a question saying she works in a high school. The students are questioning why grade 2 or grade 4, etc., comes up on the screen, which puts them off. Is there a way to turn that off? And the answer is yes, you certainly can. So on the site here, there's a lot you can do in your profile and settings. So I'm sorry we're just digressing here, but I want to answer Deborah's question. It's probably helpful to many of you. If you have students, then you don't want them to see the year level. So it might be that you've got a year 8 student working at year 5 or 6 level. You don't want them to know that you've assigned them those tasks. Go to profile and settings. There are a few things you can do here. And one of them is hide year levels. So I hope that answers your question. You can handpick which students you need that for, or you could do it for everyone if you want. And then it just says A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They wouldn't know what level you're assigning. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Deborah. Also in this section while I'm here, you can extend the audio support so it's in the high school years as well. This is where you can enable your language and translation support. So I've chosen Arabic for Miller and I haven't selected anything for anyone else, but if I wanted to, you can see there are many, 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 many languages to choose from if you want that. All right, let's go back here. So I was explaining that the diagnostic is not a frightening experience for the student. It's done in a fun way. In fact, quite often there'll be a choice of questions. So it might say, would you like to do this question or this question, which really empowers the student. Now, we're pretty smart about that. Those questions are testing the same skill at the same level, but because they're presented in a different way, it really feels nice for the student that they've got that option. And, there's lots of positive reinforcement along the way as well. The diagnostic takes around about 45 minutes per subject. Now, that's obviously going to vary from student to student a little bit. That's a rough guide. And the diagnostic is available for maths and for English. It's up to you whether you do both or just do one. We don't do a diagnostic for science, but we do have science. Science goes currently from K to 8 to year 8, and that's going to be expanded soon, but no diagnostic for science. So this is a nice little screen that they get when they have completed their diagnostic. Now, from the teacher's perspective, what do you see when they've completed the diagnostic? There are many different types of reports. So one is called a diagnostic overview, and you can see I could click onto the different strands if I want to. At the moment, I'm looking at the whole overview, and I can see every student, and it's giving me the range that they are falling in. And on the right here, I could click there and get their action plan. So that's one type of report. There are many types of reports on IXL. This one is really popular, the diagnostic strand analysis, because it groups your students. How neat is that? Accurate, and it makes it so much easier for you to know where your students are sitting. If you have a teacher's aide, you know which students they should go with and so forth. So you can see here, group 1 is working at this level. It's telling me what, so early year 4 up to halfway through year 4, Stacey, Sonia and Kathleen and so forth. So that's called the diagnostic strand analysis, and it's grouping my students. Now, I talked about keeping levels up to date. Remember, if you click that star, the students will get that reminder to step into the arena. It's a good idea to, even once they've finished the whole thing, every now and then just say, guys, go on the diagnostic, step into the arena, because that's going to show you great progress and growth reports. It's going to update those skill recommendations. That's the important thing. That action plan is not a fixed plan forever. It keeps updating if they keep doing the diagnostic. And so will the rec wall, because remember, everything they do gets fed into that rec wall, whether it's the diagnostic or work they're doing. So the next steps are provided for you. All that differentiation is automated. So every now and then tell them, go and do, look, that's a guide, 10 minutes a week if they can. It's up to you, but as a smart teacher, I wouldn't recommend doing it for homework for obvious reasons, because you don't really know who's doing the work. So it's probably best to do it in school, but that's, your call. Now, before I wrap it up, I am going to go back to the site because I wanted to show you a few more things. So remember in diagnostic, when I click here, a reminder that that's where you can click the star. Now, this is showing me every student. I can look at this to see at a glance exactly where they are landing for both. This one's done maths and English. Okay, I could print the action plan from there. And as I said, you could look at one at a time. Another beautiful report that you could print and put in there, if you still do work sample folders or portfolios or what have you, that would be a nice thing to send home. And it's showing the range that they're working at. Now, in the analytics section, it's a bit mind-blowing, isn't it? There are so many different types of reports. And if you are a school administrator, if we've got any administrators on there, you get even more. So this is what the teacher can have access to. And have a look under the diagnostic section. See, remember I talked about the diagnostic overview and diagnostic strand analysis. So that's where you'll find them. So you can just click on those, and that's where you'll get all of the reports that I was just showing you. See how it's grouping them, and it will group them in order. So that one there is working at almost year 10 level. So you just go, I'll just recap, go to analytics, and if you go to diagnostic, that's where you're going to get these reports. The other thing you should know too is you can, if you go to my IXL, it takes you to your dashboard. There's lots of things you can look at there as well. So it's going to tell me overall how my school is going. I can look at assessments, I can look at analytics. There's a lot that you can get to quite easily just from your dashboard. So that's helpful as well. And you'll also see there are user guides too. Now, we've only got a few minutes left, so You're a quiet group. Thank you, Deborah, for your question. But if anyone else has a question, please pop it in the, this is your chance. Please pop it in the Q&A box because I think I've talked fast, but I think we've almost got through everything there. But let me know if you have any more questions. And I want to go back to this slideshow again because we are here to help. So whether you are already a paid customer from a paid school or whether the schools are subscribing already or whether you are on a pilot, please, please, please reach out if you have a question or even feedback. We love to get feedback. So if you have some questions, you can always contact implementation@ixl.com. Now, if you're currently on a pilot, it might be with me or one of we've got several reps around Australia. You can always contact them. They're looking after you. We're holding your hand through your pilot. So feel free to reach out to us as well. You probably have that email address already. If you've got technical issues at all, I would suggest help@ixl.com is the place to go. So I hope you've got a bit of a feel now about how IXL is personalised for every student. As I said, we love feedback. So please pass on anything you may have you want to pass on. Now, we've also got a question, are there YouTube videos, etc., to see more? Yes. So when you're logged into the site, if you go to My IXL, you can see there are implementation guides, printable resources. In there, by the way, you can also get customizable certificates because we have tools like leaderboards where you can have a competition and so forth. So you might want to take a look at those too. But if you go on YouTube, yes, there's lots of videos on there. If you are on you're all using the Australian site. IXL's a global company. Just be careful when you're looking at ones on YouTube because they might be showing the US site, which can vary a little bit. The basics are much the same, so just be cautious of that. We do have an Australian getting started video and if you want that, you can certainly probably find that on YouTube. I'm going to be reaching out to all of you with the video recording of this webinar, and you can always reply if you want to request that video. I'll send it to you. Any more questions before we go? All right, you've been a great audience. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Jackie, and good luck with using IXL with your students. We hope you really enjoy it. Bye for now. Bye-bye.